Hey there. We're going to talk about 12/8 today. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2. Morning, Paul. Hey, Bruce. Hey, Holly. Hey, Bob. Little change up here. It's a little bit hard to learn. And I made that, actually, it's pretty, I did that in that Jack Johnson video in like two sittings. I mean, not two sittings, one sitting, but I'm going to post a link here for it. So if you're curious about the new video, there it is. I did a pull away shot for the beginning and the intro and outro, and then I zoomed in closer for the hands. And I did it, and I did the whole thing, and I created the graphics, all the little strumming groove things and everything. And then I get to the end, and I'm like, I bounce it, and I'm watching it just one time through to make sure everything's pretty cool and almost perfect. And I realized I hit that guitar way too hard for a chill island groove like that. I'm like banging it out. What was it in? Yeah, it was like. I mean, he may play it that hard like live with acoustic, but and this is not easy to do. In fact, it's a marker between a pro and a semi-pro, or a pro and an amateur, and that is to be able to play a groove but quietly. It should be so everything I said was right, but the level with the intensity with which I was playing was difficult, or was too intense, too forte. It should have been more pianissimo. And I really wasn't thinking. I was more concentrating on getting the components of the groove right than the actual spirit of the groove, which was a mistake. But I got to the end. I'm not going to refilm this. I'm just like, no. I hated wearing that Hawaiian shirt, and so if you want to see me in a Hawaiian shirt, you're going to have to watch the video. Oh, good, Zach. You're practicing guitar and happy. Yay! So there was that little bit. I even put that in the information window that you just chill it back, knock it back a couple notches. Now the thing is it is difficult to groove at a quiet volume. A lot of drummers can't do it. And they'll slow down, or they'll lose the feel because they're trying to play quiet. And how often do especially in church settings, the drummers get told to be quiet. And the reason they have drum shields and everybody's wearing ears is because drummers don't really know how to play quietly and still have the same intensity. And it seems oxymoronic, but it is not. And so I've played with some of the greatest drummers in the world, and they all know how to play quiet with full volume intensity. It's an art form. Hey, Mary, good to see you. Aslan's here too. So that's the Jack Johnson video that I dropped on Sunday. Probably, I Googled when's the best time to drop a YouTube video, and they said Sunday. And so the view count's not bad. What's my like ratio here? So 100% right now, likes versus dislikes. 460 views, which isn't bad considering some fun chords in OpenC, which I released a week before, is 519. So some of these are, some of these videos can be slow, slow burns. And so some of them, like I was shocked when I looked back and saw the John Lennon one had as many as it did because I don't think it started that well. And same with the Neil Young one. So that's kind of why I did the Jack Johnson one. And Jack Johnson was the one that was like, for me, of all of them, he's the most obvious that he really has one groove that he really tends to like. So much so that the piano player and the drummer, they all know it. It's like they do all the accents and everything. So. You're waiting to get a haircut. Yeah, no, you typed it right. That's right. I've got my Atkins bar here. This is my breakfast, so I'm trying to keep the food headache or lack of food headache. Oh, Westfield, yeah. I know Westfield. What is Westfield north of Indianapolis? I'm not sure. I remember Westfield Mall, but there's a Westfield Mall out here, so I'm not sure. It's an interesting town. I don't know, John, if you've ever been to Columbus, Indiana. But Columbus, Indiana, I think Cummins, they make, I think, jet engines. The founder of Cummins Engineering, he basically said, if you want to build a church or you want to build any building at all in that town, he would hire a famous architect to do the design. He would pay for that. And so they have like 60 different buildings by 60 different churches and all sorts of different buildings, city buildings and things like that. All these different architects. Someday I want to go there just to check out a lot of the architecture. It was a pretty cool idea. That was actually a really cool idea. So we're going to talk about the 12/8 groove shuffle. There's a lot of different ways you can play this. And 12/8 was very, very common in the 50s with early rock and roll and early pop music. Like the... We're going to talk about the strumming of it. And also, Bruce, I figured out where I went wrong on the upstroke, downstroke thing. Because I never use finale, like the downstroke, upstroke. I'd rather have arrow, down arrow, up arrow. So that's a downstroke right there. The reason is it's from violin notation. That's what it is. It's down bow. That's a down bow, I think, and the other's an up bow. So they just adopted it for guitar notation back probably in the 60s. And it's just kind of stuck. I never see it in music. When I get music, it never has bowing. Now, you do put it bowing oftentimes in orchestral music because you do want... if you ever watch an orchestra, their bows always move in the same direction. I'm like, how do they know to do that? And it's because there's bow marks oftentimes in orchestral music. So, hey Kenya, welcome. Is E shape the right one when playing 12? The 12 shuffle for Bohemian Rhapsody? I don't know. Is it is in 12/8 though, isn't it? Dun, 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 dun. That's the melody. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2. And we'll talk about that. Talking about that particular song. Sorry. What's my net worth? Okay. I'm a billionaire. So, but right here I've got it. You notice the eighth notes are grouped in groups of 3. It took me a minute to figure out how to do that in Finale. It's like when I typed it in, it didn't naturally do it. It had 12 individual eighth notes. It was kind of silly. So what we can do is, this is all downstrokes. Just take the bottom 2 strings, E. We can even just hit the E string, the bottom string. 1, 2, 3, 2, 3. You don't really ever count this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Because it just doesn't work with syllables. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Or 1 triplet, 2 triplets. These aren't technically triplets. 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. Okay? And if we want to add the rock and roll thing, then I'm on the 5th string, the 2nd fret, the 4th fret, and the 5th fret, and it backs. So I'm going 2, 4, 5, 4, and hitting 3 of each of those. Just for the most stereotypical thing I can think of. And you can slide your 3rd finger if you can't reach your pinky up. Thank you, Mary. You could even go up to the E if you want. And the notes we're playing are B, C sharp, D, C sharp, B. And so that's the 5th, the 6th, and the dominant 7th, the flat 7th of E. And it gives you a very old school rock and roll kind of feel. And a shuffle. This is also called a shuffle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Kind of, but I've used in 12-bar blues that could be. To the 4 chord, A. This is harder when you can do that. When I reach out and get the. And we're going to go to the 5 chord B. To A. You could totally play a blues progression. In fact, in Chicago and in Texas, they often do play blues in 12/8, but they might not call it 12/8, and we're going to talk about that later. Okay. Uh-oh, your video doesn't match the audio. Really? That's trying to mess with you. Sometimes in and out. I'm talking, but you can only hear every word. All right. I know I'm a jerk. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm playing. The 1, 5, 6. And then over A, you do the same thing. Just move everything down 1 string. And then B, you might just do. Don't change it. I mean, that's even a reach for me. I mean, that's the reach of the impossible chord, which I have to put up on TikTok. Maybe I'll do that today. Okay, so So, but also, I mean, it could be also played with just regular. No, it's 12/8 would be counted as eighth notes, not triplets. You notice when I said one triplet, two triplet, three triplet, that wouldn't technically be correct. A triplet would have a little 3 under it. And so the way you might write that in 4/4, if you wanted that feel in 4/4, you'd write 4/4, and then you write this out and put little 3s underneath each one of those groupings of 3. And what that means is 3 notes in the space of 2 notes is what that means. That would be a triplet. So it would be like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3 triplet. 1 and 2. You can even practice that. Play 8. I mean, one way you could notate that is to go back and forth 1 bar of 4/4, 1 bar of 12/8. Maybe 5 times in my life I've been asked to do something like that. 3 and 4 and 1 triplet, 2 triplet, 3 triplet. Our friend from Kenya disappeared, I guess, Bruce. So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of an interesting practice. You could totally practice that. That would be playing a triplets kind of over the 4/4. But what's more common, which I do all the time, and we've even talked about it, is if I'm playing in something, say I'm playing in G to E minor, okay, in 6/8. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Oh, thanks. Let me pin that, Bruce. Thank you. Pin message. All right. So if I'm playing in 6/8, sometimes it's fun to do that to break it into quarter note. Play the 2 over 3 kind of thing. And we would do that like sound like. And that's kind of like going 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. It's also called Canarius, but as one version of the Canarius, which is an old 15th century rhythm. But this one I have right now written with all downstrums. Okay. And so that's kind of a more driving, bluesy, rock and roll way to play 12/8. All right? You see that? Now, you got that, right? We can even do it with, we can go, how should we do this? We just go E, 3, 2, 3, 4. Then to A maybe. 1, 2. We're gonna go G. Yeah, let's just do downstrokes. It won't be very rock and roll, but we're going to go G to E minor, okay? Because I want to keep it pretty simple. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, E minor. And I'm accenting all the downbeats, right? Boom, 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 boom. So that would be basically a way you could approach it with all downstrokes, okay? So let me drag that up, okay, into the corner, make it smaller, and drag it up. Okay, so that's like that. I'm going to put it up here so we have it for reference. All right, because it's 12/8. It's so many beats. It's a little bit longer. It's skinnier of an image there. So, all right, now the next one. I have to shut this window to do this. So the next way we're going to play it is with down, down, up, down, up, down, up. Okay. The problem with this is that right away it ends up sounding more like a 6/8 kind of vibe, more of a Celtic kind of thing. Okay. So here I'm going to play 1 bar of um, 1 bar of, let's see, where are we? Here we go. 1 bar of G and then 1 bar of E minor. But it's going to go for 12 beats like this. And I might write that out in 6/8 instead of 12/8. Just a preference. But I see 12/8, I think shuffle in my head, or maybe more of a world groove, and not, of course, Irish Celtic is world groove, I guess. But so. It's all good. Learning to labor, it's fine. And you can count it as just 1, 2, 3, 4. Watch. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. But the problem is your downbeats are on a down strum and then an up strum and then a down strum and an up strum, because we're playing an uneven number of strums per beat. Okay? So that creates some, like, okay, how do we navigate this? And that's why I so often... Okay, so then G, E minor, C, the stereotypical 50s thing, right? I'll play the same thing with the downstrokes and upstrokes. It has a totally different feel. It's a totally different lilt. Even though it's the same subdivisions, it's the same number of hits per bar, but as soon as you go to that down-up thing, it definitely takes it more in the Celtic groove. Now, you could totally do that with this, with 12/8. It's not necessarily a problem. You could totally write that out. It would be G for 2 beats, and then it would be E minor, and then another bar of this, boop, and it would be C to D. So. Right? And that would be one way, but I would probably write that out. Maybe, I don't know. It just depends. I mean, if it were a 50s tune, I would probably leave it in 12/8. But if it's a Celtic kind of vibe, a worship thing, maybe I would probably put it in 6/8. It just depends. I've seen both, but it's unusual. Now we're gonna go much more difficult here with one little slight change, and then you're gonna be like, how do I do this? Okay. So the problem I have with this is, I want to put downbeats in here, right? I want to put snare hits in the Still of the Night. Is that a song that uses that feel, Mary? Who is that? In the Still of the Night. Oh, right. I see a 50s song, Fred Paris and the Satins. So the Five Satins original song, 1956. It's totally that kind of vibe. I'm not sure, the song's not coming to me, but yeah. And it's the 1, 6, 4, 5, which was so prevalent in early rock and roll, R&B, pop music in the 50s, particularly, and into the 60s. The Beatles really came along, and part of the reason the Beatles did really well, I mean, there's so many reasons why the Beatles were the perfect storm. But one of the things was that they started messing around with chord progressions. They did all those kind of songs, and they even have some like covers on their early records. And they loved Buddy Holly and artists like that did those very grooves and very progressions. But they were always trying to create something new that was like interesting to them. And so, thanks, Living. I don't know. I'm a legend in my spare time, just in my spare time. So, but But the problem with this is I want to put a 2 and a 4 in here. I want to put a snare hit, but I can't do it. I can't really. I can't do a snare hit on an upstroke. Maybe you can't. Somebody can. I can't. So what I do is, and this, like I said, I'm going to make one little change is going to make this so hard, and you're going to hate me. We've talked about this before. I did a video on this. In fact, let me try to find it real quick. Go to playlists. Show all. Oh, it's going to have a lot of live stuff in here too, I think. Rearrange group. Oh yeah, this is it here. So maybe take a paste. Maybe take that video, open a new window, and you can watch it later because it's basically what it's going to goes into detail what I'm going to talk about right now. So the other thing I do is I take this groove, okay, same groove. Look, it's still 12/8 notes, groupings of 3. And only difference is, and Bruce, you were right. I was doing the notation wrong. I mean, if we go back here and we look at some of the, I was like, it didn't look right to me, my notation. And this is how it's supposed to be. So that's an upstroke and that's a downstroke. Now that's like pure notation for like songbooks and things like that. And so we're going to look at, we're going to play. So anyway, I would prefer, like I've used D and U, down, up, that instead. I've used, if I were writing this out on a piece of paper for you, I would have, probably we did this back a year ago. I would do down arrows and up arrows, okay? But that notation is actually from violin notation, bowing, up bow, down bow. So that's how it just got transferred over by notation people over to guitar. Okay, so the difference between these two grooves is you can see this one here, right here, I'm going to cover my face with. This one is down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Okay? So we have on the downbeat, the first downbeat, we have a down. On the second downbeat, we have an up. And on the third downbeat, we have a down. And on the fourth downbeat, we have an up. So I wish you could see my cursor, but anyway, you get the idea. Actually, I could probably do it this way. So on the first downbeat, beep, my finger's the cursor. Okay, there. That's a downstroke. And then the next downbeat right here, you see they're grouped in 3s. That's an upstroke. So beat 2 is an upstroke. I want beat 2 to be a downstroke so I can do a snare hit on 2 and 4. Here's beat 3, okay? Beat 3 is a downstroke, okay? But I want a downstroke on beat 4 here where I can do a snare hit. So what we do is if we do this exact same groove, but we start with an upstroke, we can have downstrokes on 2 and 4. The problem is, easier said than done, okay? Good to see you. Richard, good to see you too. Now, I do this groove sounds great fast. Like it has a very, very Spanish sound to it, a very Latin, South American kind of vibe to it. And I really, really love it. I think I started doing it probably on like some Tommy Walker tune back in the 90s. And it was just... It's a great feel. And it's a 12/8 feel. 1, 2, 3, it's going pretty fast the way I'm playing it right now. Okay, I don't expect you to get this down. But the nice thing about this, I can do a snare hit on 2 and 4. Okay, so that's another way to notate this. Now, But even though this is kind of a shuffle feel, I would, hey, oh, Dennis is lurking. That's okay, Dennis. You can lurk all you want. Yeah, that's all I'm doing. Is you could just accent, like if you were doing start with a downstroke. The rhythm right here, you could do that rhythm and just accent the upstroke on 2 and 4, and that would give you that kind of at least it would give you that sense of a snare hit. But I like actually playing a snare hit, so having it, you know. But it's unbelievably counterintuitive to start a strumming group with an upstroke, right? It doesn't make any sense. It almost goes against everything I've ever taught you. So this is the one example where it works. And again, it's more that it's that. You know, it's a fun feel. I love the feel. It's kind of got this nice kind of gallop and pace to it. But it took me a while to get that one. I kept turning myself around, right? Uh, and then to try to sing on top of it, that was even more difficult. I think it was. Let's see. So that was a Tommy Walker song, From the Sunset. So it was like from the sunset, or from the sunrise. See. From the sunrise to the sunset, now till forever, I'll praise your name. And it took me a minute to get that down. It's basically just a psalm. I forget what psalm it is, but from the sunrise to the sunset, I'll praise your name. And Tommy, that's often Tommy's libretto for almost all his worship songs are out of psalms. That way, you know the theology of your worship songs correct. So often, the worship songs, I'm like, I don't know about that. And we got the whole church singing it. I was very strict about. I always had whenever I did someone's worship song, I wanted to check it out and make sure. Most songs are fine, but there's some that you're like, that's not really in the Bible, so I'm not going to sing that. But so yeah, you just have to. People don't know. They just you got a lot of new Christians writing worship songs for the church, and they're like, yeah. God's a four-headed horse. It's like, no, God's not a four-headed horse. Where is that in the Bible? Well, I just thought it sounded cool to say. It's like, okay, whatever. So anyway, a little sidetrack there into the worship aspect of guitar playing. But literally 90% of my life I spent singing and playing guitar was in churches doing worship stuff. The other 10% would have been in bands that I had for periods of time here and there. But I fed my family early on with leading worship, so I got good enough to sing and play at the same time because I had to. So it was like I could starve. Well, it didn't even matter. I don't mind starving. I just don't want my kids to starve, right? So generally there's many ways you can count a 12/8. You could, but I would never go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 because you got 2 syllables on 7 and 11, 3 syllables on 11. So it's a 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2. It's not going to work. So usually the way you count 12/8 would be 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3. It's almost always grouped as 4 groupings of 3. Okay, I've never seen 3 groupings of 4. That would be a different. You probably just call that 4/8 or something. I don't know. I don't know what I I don't know. Actually, you might call that 4/4, and those would be, or 3/4, and those would be 16th notes. It's that's probably how you would feel. But John, I basically the way it works with me, it was kind of one of those things. You have to have the 2 elements down pat individually, and then it's a matter. It for me, John. I'll tell you what did it for me was I was playing guitar at a church, and I was getting $50 every Saturday morning to play guitar at this Adventist church, and the worship leader left after about the first 6 months I was there, and they said, "Hey, would you be interested in being the worship leader?" I said, "Well, I don't know." And they go, "Well, it pays $100 a week." And I said, "Okay." So the way you the way you got me to be able to sing and play at the same time was to pay me $50 to do it. Does that make sense? Do I have a favorite worship song? Not really. No, not really. I mean, no. If I have a go-to, I would probably do "Open the Eyes of My Heart" by Paul Balash. That would probably be my go-to if I was asked to lead. I haven't led worship in 15 years, so. But John, the truth be told, it was kind of fear, and I practiced. I just practiced. I remember before I led worship at Shepherd, and I've been leading worship at that point quite a bit. But I remember being in Michigan the week before, and I would take my guitar, and I was walking around the beach singing and playing, standing up. That's the other thing. I would stand up and do it, because when you're standing up, your guitar is pushing against your lungs, and your breathing is totally different. And so if you practice for the whole week sitting down like this, like actually playing the right chord, and then you get up in front of a bunch of people. First, you're nervous. Secondly, you're pushing the guitar against your lung, you're going to pass out. Your first worship experience, worship lead is going to be like, that's what's going to happen. So you need to practice standing up. And then you need to have a song I'm not exactly sure. I remember I remember singing in the car. I remember playing piano and singing, actually. That was something that came more naturally to me for some reason. I did that before I played guitar and sang. But I remember singing, I remember leading worship when I was 13 years old for Crusade when my friend Paul left town for the summer, and they asked me to lead worship, and I didn't want to. I said, I'll play guitar if someone else sings. And that's the same thing I did with Beth. So there was a period of time where I would play guitar for worship, but not be the singer, not the leader. So Beth would lead. In our Sunday school class, we had a big Sunday school class, like 100 people. And so I've told the story about that's how I got my Gibson Dove, because I needed a big acoustic guitar. I didn't have one, and I needed a big sounding one. So I played like 100 acoustic guitars until I picked up that Dove, and it was like, whoa, this thing's loud. Because I was going to be in a room of 100 people with no amplification. So what ended up happening was there was a morph that happened. Beth is singing, I'm playing guitar, and eventually I started singing, and because she was more comfortable harmonizing anyway. So then I would every now and then start singing a song. It was just kind of, once I got to know a song, probably like Lord, I Lift Your Name on High, which we've done in here. Such a simple song. It's so simple with the left hand. The right hand is all simple. So if you've got a simple song, you start there, and then you work the elements separately, and then you bring them together. And like I said, I would practice standing up. Yes, that's exactly right, John. You have to have the guitar down pat, as you say. And that's just a word for anyone who's not familiar with the word pat, just down so you don't even have to think about it. Okay? And so you could do it in your sleep. And then if you can do it in your sleep, then you could probably sing over it. All right. And so a song like Lord I Lift is basically GCDC. So now one of the things that I would so when you're the thing was when I started leading worship, I wasn't worshiping at all. Like it was a job, and I don't mean that I didn't worship God. It just meant that I I had a lot of respect all of a sudden for all the worship leaders that I had been backing up. I've been playing guitar for a lot of different worship leaders. All of a sudden I was like, oh wow, this job is not easy because I had to think about the chords, the strumming groove. I had to think about the words, the melodies. That's four things right there, right? If I'm playing acoustic, then that's pretty simple. It's just acoustic. If I'm playing electric, I've got to think about what sound I'm going to use. But generally, it's just acoustic. So I'm right hand, left hand, lyrics, melody. But I'm also leading a band, and I'm leading a congregation. And I've got to maybe say something between the next two songs. So it's like there is a lot going on. And you got to keep your lips on the microphone so they can hear you. You know, it's not a time for you to be like just turning your back to the audience and doing your own little personal worship time. It's you've got to, you know. So I literally, and to be honest, even playing guitar for worship leaders back there, I wasn't worshiping because I was thinking about what part am I going to play, what sound am I going to use, where am I going to position it. You know, I'm thinking guitar player thoughts. I'm not thinking, oh, the God of the universe that deserves to be praised. So that, you know, I'm just not there. So when I was doing, I swear to God, it was Lord I Lift Your Name on High that literally became one of the cheesiest worship songs because it was so overdone. And Rick Founds wrote this song. It's funny because I remember when Rick Founds was balding and or bald, and when the praise band, which was a band, they were singing it one time, like a tribute to Rick or something, and Rick's sitting in the front audience, front row of the church, and they're singing a song, and when they get to My Debt to Pay, they sing My Dead to Pay, because Rick's bald, but he couldn't tell that they were singing that, but that was like an inside joke that they would always do, My Dead to Pay. Sometimes we have to entertain ourselves, especially if it's a song we've done 1,000 times. And the praise band would get requested that song. So I'm doing Lord I Lift Your Name on High. I know this song really well. And so it was the first time ever that I was leading worship or even playing guitar where I didn't have to think about what I was doing on a guitar. I didn't think I have to do what was vocal. The band knew what they were doing. The congregation, I knew the arrangement. I knew exactly how I was going to do it. It was all locked in. And that was really the first time I ever felt like I really worshiped God. All of a sudden, I felt like my chest was ripped open and my spirit was released. It almost was like an out-of-body experience. And I found that I had my best worship experiences leading worship, mainly because of fear. You know, it's like, at Shepherd, I'd be in front of 1,500 people, which was scary, you know, and I'm not, you know, I kind of like this detached. I feel like I'm just talking to myself right now. You know, I don't even know if you were all sitting in a room with me, I might be a little nervous. But being in front of 1,500 people or even more on Easter, we did 2 services with 10,000 people in a tent. We had a tent that seated 10,000 people. So on Easter, I was doing in front of 10,000 people. Fear is a great way to put you at the foot of the cross and like, oh, God, help me, you know. And so that's kind of where I had some of my best worship experiences when I was leading worship. Yeah, no, it's true. It's Gary. Gary says every time I lead a song in church, it's an adventure. Yeah, no, it's true. If I had to be, in fact, it's funny. This weekend I was playing acoustic on one song, and so I had my acoustic and I was tuning it up, and I walked out to the front of the stage for the first time with a guitar in probably 15 years, and all those like insecure feelings all came rushing back. I'm like, oh no, I can't do this again. You know, although like I said, it's a great place for me because it really makes me depend on God all the more, which is, to be honest, where we all should be. So do it afraid. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so fear, I think, John, is a big motivator for getting better at anything. And so playing and singing at the same time, you know what? Remember when we talked about like if you had okay, you're trying to learn Donna Lee, right? You take it phrase at a time. You take it a phrase at a time, and then you. It's hard to do phrase at a time for me. There we go. But you take it a little bit of phrase at a time. So the same thing with this. And I don't know if it helps to have a music and lyrics in front of you, but you might want to put lyrics in front of you so you're not worried. I would always have lyrics at least in front of me because I didn't want to ever be worried that I was going to forget a lyric and then I had no recourse. Now they have monitors. See, I asked for those, like on the floor for the singers and for the choir and everything to have monitors with the words on. Now they do. Back when I was leading worship, they wouldn't do that. It was like, no, we're not doing that. I'm like, okay. And then the next worship leader that came on, they said, okay, we'll do it for you, but not for Tom. Exactly. Holly, release, trust, let it flow. Yeah, and and you definitely don't want your first time singing to be in front of people. You want to definitely practice at home. But I would film yourself. Maybe set up a camera or use your computer to film yourself. Chart your progress. I think that's always a good thing to do. Okay, so we're talking about the 12/8 thing now. A shuffle, generally, you can call that a shuffle. Okay. And I wanted to create a notation, but I couldn't quite figure out how to do it. Maybe, I probably like it. I'll try it later on Finale, the notation software. But I tried to create, I wanted to do like these figures here with the 12/8 notes and replace the middle of each grouping of 3 with a rest, but have the beam still connect between the two outside ones. But I didn't do that. So instead, because and that would have been less correct. This is more correct to how the feel we're going to do. And this is kind of, I think, what more people associate with kind of a shuffle feel. So basically what I did was I got rid of the middle of every one of those 3 notes. So you'll notice we had 3/8 notes, and I replaced it here with a quarter note and an 1/8 note. Because remember, 2 1/8 notes equals 1 quarter note. So when we get rid of so if you go like this, 1, 2, 3, that's the top one. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2. Let's go to each sus so we have a change on 1. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2. 1, 2, 3. Well, Fabian, I'll tell you. Hey, Fabian has a question. I'm currently getting started with flamenco. Have you got any experience with it? Yeah, I have a little bit of experience with flamenco. It's kind of one of my hobbies right now is to try to learn flamenco guitar. The 12/8 is actually a fairly common meter. A lot of triplet feels, 6/8, 3/4, things like that in flamenco. So this lesson, while it's not a flamenco lesson, will actually give you some foundational stuff that you can work on with flamenco stuff. Also, I study classical guitar. So classical guitar, I've always said that everybody here has heard me say this many times. Classical guitar is a very grabby kind of thing. You're like, oh shoot, what am I thinking? What song am I thinking? But you're grabbing like this, okay? And so all the the Giuliani arpeggios, which we worked on at some point. You're grabbing. You're doing it's interior muscles. It's these muscles in here. Flamenco, man, it's flicking. It's exterior. It's like. so the top of your hand is just going to catch on fire. It just hurts so bad to do a lot of the flamenco stuff. So yeah, it's a whole nother muscle set than classical guitar. So if you're coming from classical guitar, be prepared to have some pain in the top of your hand. And then the rasgueados are kind of the, like in classical guitar we learn arpeggio studies, which are like, you want to have a lot of those. In flamenco, there's hundreds of rasgueados, which are ways of flicking the strings and creating rhythm, because you're a rhythm guitar player accompanying a tap dancer with metal taps on their shoes, and someone playing castanets and someone singing at the top of their lungs. So it's got to be loud. That's why they're hitting all these. There's a lot of, so a lot of, like, in fact, we were talking about learning a rumba feel maybe at some point, which is not, it is one of the styles in flamenco music, a very common style actually. You see I'm doing kick, snare, kick, snare, kick, snare with strums in between. Oh, yeah, Holly, that's the same way. My wife's the same way. My wife could sing with a band in front of thousands and thousands of kids, and then when she had asked to sing a solo at church, she would be petrified. Two totally different scenarios. So yeah, so flamenco music is definitely more. Your goal is. Your goal is definitely more accompaniment, playing rhythm, volume. You want to get volume out there. So that's a lot of what's happening with your right hand is directed that way. As far as like rasgueados, yeah, there's some that like groupings of 5 are really common. Of course, I'm not playing on flamenco guitar, but. And it's just crazy. I never thought I could get that down. It took me forever to get that down. And it actually was kind of encouraging because I was probably 52, 53 years old when I finally did 2 in a row. I could do 1, but I couldn't do. I don't know if I could do 3 or I don't think I could do 5 in a row. Some of those guys, they'll just keep going. They'll just keep going like. It's like, oh my gosh, it's so bad. So okay, back to the lesson at hand. Fabian, you're what's called a squirrel creator. You turned me into a squirrel. Look, a squirrel, or you're a squirrel, and I'm chasing you, or something. I forget. I don't know what it is. Aslan, well, yeah, you need to get into a band. You get in a band. It's a band of brothers. I mean, when you're in a band, it's like the Beatles were like this when they were early on. They fought. They would fight for each other. It's like when you're in a band, it's like you're going to battle. It's a really kind of solidifying experience. So I would definitely try to get a situation where you can play with others. I need to finish my Atkins here, but okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play 4, 2, 3, 1. Whistle and step 2, 3, 2. You do this with me. E sus to E. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 1. And we're gonna get rid of every middle note. Okay? Probably easier just to imitate than think about it. Okay? It's gonna sound like this. You're kidding. You just bought a flamenco today. Yep. They're a little bit louder than classical guitars. The wood's harder, I think, than the typical make them out of. And they're slightly shallower. I mean, just ever so slightly shallower. I'm not sure how much. Half an inch, maybe not even that much. But what that does is it creates a lot of the sound you're hearing come off the back of the guitar out the sound hole. So you're shortening that distance. The sound goes from the strings of the bridge to the back of and then out the sound hole. You're shortening that distance, so it's a little bit more immediate. Tends to be brighter. Also, you tend to put the strings a little lower on a flamenco than on a nylon, a classical guitar. So, Quail Studios, what's going on? Okay, so I know that sounds kind of weird, but it's actually 1, 2, 3. Right? That's a shuffle. 2. So what I'm doing there is I'm actually on the last. I'm playing on the first 3 beats. I'm playing E, and then I'm hitting on beat 4. I'm hitting E, and then I'm hitting A, and then basically kind of G. G over A. You don't just. If you just get these 3 strings and these 3 strings, but if you hit everything, it doesn't matter. You get messy as you want. It's freaking the blues, so it should be kind of messy. It should be blood on your guitar if you're gonna do this. But what that is 1, and so 1, 2, 2, 3, and so the last 3 beats, last 3 beats are just 3/8 notes. 1 or 4, 2, 3. I know it sounds confusing. 4, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2. I should have written that in there. But you can think it's 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1. Because we're thinking in groups of 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, right? A canarios would be 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. We're not gonna do that. Okay. But that's still 12. It still adds up to 12. But this is like, you can do it that way too if you want. Now, would I use an upstroke in there? No, probably not. I mean, if it was really fast. Nope. Still down for. Because 12/8's never going to be super fast unless you're doing that Spanish, that South American feel that I was sharing with you. Okay, so let me make this one small. I've got another way you could write that pattern. Okay, so that pattern is 12/8. Look how complex that is, right? It's like, are you kidding me? Look at that. How do I count? What? What do I do with that? Okay, so yeah, I'm not ADD. I'm not. I swear. I'm trying to line up all those. Okay. Oh, ADD, yeah, I am. OCD, sorry. I'm not OCD. Okay. So, let's see. I think I have 2 more. What are the other 2? Oh. Yeah, why did I do that? See, this is what I was just saying. I don't think we would ever play down, up, down, up, down. I don't think we'd ever play that. So, maybe that's why I did that. I'm not sure why I did. But here's a way that's actually a lot easier to write this. Just straight 8th notes and just write the word shuffle and keep it in 4/4. Works. It works every time. Generally, so the way you read that, it's the same thing. Okay? So trust me, yeah, if you can make notation easier to read, easier for people to understand. It's definitely going to be done because you oftentimes are reading stuff really fast. The problem with this one here, even though it's technically correct, the problem is that if you had, say, a 100 song that was 100 measures, if you wrote it out the top way there, here, wait, I could do this, there, okay? You wrote it out this way, dang it, this way. So hard, why is this so hard? If I wrote it out this way, it would probably be 7 pages of music. If I wrote it out this way, it'd probably be 2 pages of music. So this saves paper to write that, okay? Also, this is harder to see or read, especially on the fly, especially if all of a sudden it's normal notation and then it goes to this. If you have normal like eighth notes, and all of a sudden you get eighth notes shuffle, you know immediately to jump to shuffle. You don't need to change the meter from 4/4 to 12/8 and then write the notation. Yes, shuffle's similar to swing. The swing is probably, I mean, if you think about percentages, okay, if we divide 2 eighth notes in, they're evenly divided, that's 50%, 50% of a quarter note, okay? So half and half. If you have 3, you got basically 33, 33, 33. So if you are in a MIDI software and you want it to be a shuffle, you would set it to 66% swing. That means the quarter note would get a 66. The downbeat would get 66% value, and the eighth note after it would get 34% value. Right? You could go to 67%. It would be a little bit delayed. Okay. If you went, so the range is usually 50 to 75. 75. If you go to 75, that equals a dotted eighth note, and that would be basically 3/16 notes. So that would be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a B. And that's just written dotted eighth to a 16th. And that's not really a swing feel, right? Da dun da dun da dun da 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 da. Those are 16th notes. Okay, those are syncopated 16th notes. And that's not really a swing feel. A shuffle like this, like a pure 12/8 shuffle, kind of swingy. That's actually, we didn't do the clapping today. Normally we do clapping, but basically, if you clap 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, accenting the ones, get rid of the middle one. That's a shuffle, okay? A swing could be there, no further though. Or it could be pretty much anywhere less than that. You could even say a 51% swing, which would be a very, 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 very subtle swing. But 60% is a good feel for a swing. So a swing, like a pure 12/8 swing might be. Let me do it. Let's see. But that almost sounds like a shuffle to me because it's so dead on, right? But I'll give you an example. See, like, here's a straight eighth notes. Bebop lick. Oops. Okay. If I play it straight, if I played it shuffled, it would be a. And that's not wrong, but it's a little too cute, Whatever. I bebop. I just like that lick. What was the one that's I love that one too. That's a Wes Montgomery one. So, but if you don't exaggerate it so much. That's more of a swing. So I would say this is probably close to the 60 here. But if I were to do a pure shuffle, and it's almost hard to do. See, if you go to triplets right away, you can tell it's a pure shuffle, you know. So if I do 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. But a more, swing would be. It's more fluid too. It's kind of hard to define, but a 12/8 shuffle feel would be the most extreme swing you would probably ever put on a note. If you go on the other side of that, on the way to being a 16th note, I don't even know, like, who does that. I mean, that might be a really pushed kind of jazz feel. But yeah, a swing is up to the shuffle feel, is what I would say. But 50/50, which is pure eighth notes, is a machine, right? 1 and 2 and 3. Whoops. Okay, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's pure, but it's more lilty. It's more. I start dancing in my seat. Okay, this is the German in me. I'm sorry, Germans can swing, but you know what I'm saying. Schnell. Then we got, hey, everything's cool. Let's get high. Right? Jazz cigarettes. Okay, so, sorry, Fabian, what are you saying here? I missed it. Let's see. Cedar, that's right. It's cedar, isn't it? Yeah. No, I think cedar, cedar top. Mine is, gosh darn it. Let me look up mine, because I always forget the name of the tone wood, the body wood. The top has a big effect on it too, but see if I can find it. Okay. Oh yeah, Gold Tone sells them now. I wonder what they go for. Probably. Oh no, I got a good deal. Cool. Okay. Solid wood, yeah, of course. Video figure board, yeah. Cypress, that's what it is. I can never remember. So the back and sides are cypress. Specs. Here, let me go and get this here. The top is spruce, abeto. The back and sides are solid cypress. So spruce top, back and sides cypress, cedar neck, irrelevant. Indian rosewood binding, irrelevant. Ebony fingerboard, irrelevant. Bridge, Indian rosewood on mine. So I paid $2,000 for mine. They go for $3,000 now. So I did all right. But yeah, it's funny. I forgot that Gold Tone Music Group bought flamenco, Ramirez, which, Ramirez was like, the Gold Tone. Yeah, here's one for $12,000. Traditional, out of stock though. Why is their website does not like Safari? You know how that sometimes Safari is kind of funny that way. There are some websites that just don't like it. Let's see if Chrome does better. No. Yeah, see, this works. The Ramirez, the $12,000 one is in sideback Indian rosewood. Mine is Brazilian rosewood, which I don't think you can get anymore. But I don't have a Ramirez. I have a yeah. They have a bunch of different guitars. But boy, they have a elite commemorative, which is $18,000. What is this? Madagascar rosewood, top cedar. Yeah, my classical guitar is cedar top. I really like the cedar top. It is aesthetically, it's beautiful. Something about that, it just has a warm sound and a warm, look to it. But oh, I made your day, Mary. Who made your day? Not me. So hopefully you all understand this 12/8 kind of vibe, and then Holly, I mentioned something about, so let's do Wednesday. I'll come up with something for Wednesday, and then Friday let's maybe try to do a Zoom thing at like 11 or something. You want to try that? So if you I tagged up here, not tagged. I pinned the Discord link here. If you want the Discord link, I'll pull it up again here. Let's see. No, introductions. So join up on the Discord. It's up there in the pin, but you may not see that. I don't know if you're, oh my gosh, hard to get to this. I'm trying to get to the top of the, here we go. It's also in the video description too. So there's the Discord. We'll try to set up an hour or so of live chat so we can all see each other's faces again. And then, so Mary, what were you saying now? I made your day? Or somebody made your day. I'm gonna eat food. Let's see if I can get my viewers to go up by eating food. See, that's like a big thing, right? Am I endorsing these Atkins bars? Wow. This is okay. A little dry. That's why I got coffee. Yeah, if you're going to YouTube, if you're going over to Discord, try to use your YouTube channel name if possible. You can have multiple handles on Discord. What was I going to say? Sorry, I'm just looking at the comments here. Just make sure I didn't miss something. I think I kind of answered your question, Alan. And eventually I'm going to move to one day a week, probably Wednesday. Charo. Yeah, number one. Coochie. Charo's great. My friend Joe DeBlasi is very good friends with Charo. Has played with her for years. Played on all her records. Joe's a great guitar player. I've talked about him before. In fact, I want to interview him for my channel. I keep saying that, and I haven't done it. I keep telling him I'm going to do it, and I don't do it. That's been going on for years. He doesn't believe me. And then COVID hit. It was like, I was all set to do it, and then COVID hit. Let's see. Yeah, so the Zoom link will be in the Discord announcements. Hopefully I'll find it. Oh, the very, very top thing, yeah. All right, so let's see. So let's review this pattern. Now 12/8, like I said, there's a lot of different, it's not there's not just one style of music that uses the 12/8 or the shuffle, and it doesn't necessarily feel like a shuffle always. Like if you're playing every eighth note, it's like. I mean, I would call that a shuffle, but I wouldn't call this one a shuffle. I'm not even sure what that's called. There's a word for it, and I can't think of it. It's a Latin feel. It's a South American feel. Have a good one, Fabian. And then again, if you're doing, you can do upstrokes and downstrokes. You can do all downstrokes. You can do up, but the South American feel I was doing, you can, and then you can get rid of the middle of the triplet, middle note of the triplet, and come up with more of a. This is more of a shuffle. And in fact, if we do the rock and roll thing, that's a good thing to practice. Hearing those triplets, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, and then you can work on that bottom one there. Or not, I mean the second from the bottom one, right? That you're familiar with. Technically, that should be easier than because you're hitting less notes. Okay, but another way you can write that is down below here, the shuffle. It's not. See, that's straight. But if it says the word shuffle, you should put a triplet feel in there. One, two, three, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Those are all threes, groupings of threes. Hollowed out there. All right, so I'm going to take off here in a minute. But anybody got any questions about this or anything? Hey, you're back at home. I forget about Paul Reed Smiths are not the best for having their tuner on them. Boy, this tuner is dead. Go through tuner batteries like crazy. I must leave them on too much. Takes. Guess I don't really. This was an experiment. I decided to put baritone strings on this guitar and try to tune it to open C. Just didn't quite work because the holes in the nut are not quite wide enough to let these bottom three strings set down. So how many licks does it take to get to the center? When I did it, it was something like, I mean, if you lick one side, it was, what was it, 992 times, I think, on one side. I finally got to the chocolate with 992, if I remember. I can't remember the number, but I did do the test. These are P90s, yeah. Kind of fun. I like playing in open tunes. I just don't do it very much. No, this is all original. This is a McCarty model. It's a pretty guitar. I really wanted a guitar with P90s, and I just bought this one. But the problem is for session work, it's kind of noisy. But in the middle, it's kind of nice. But it buzzes really bad. Hey, Shan, what's going on? And I don't even think that's how you spell plague. So, the number I came up with was 992, I think. 992. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's Bruce. Bruce's human autocorrect. Gary, when you are fretting behind the slide, I am a little bit. Yeah. You don't have. I have the action set pretty high, so I don't technically have to. It's a Sonny Landreth thing. But I do kind of, I don't lift it, I just kind of tilt it. It's hard because you got to try to keep the slide in the right position while you mess around behind it. And it's just, but that, yeah. Hey, Zach, what's going on? Yeah, I would try watching Sonny Landreth play. He just really nails that, playing behind a nut. But actually, the guy that the other Landreth, the no relation, what's his name? I wonder if they've played together. I think now, right? I don't know. Oops. So Joey Landreth, yeah. Joey's insane, and so he does this. That's why I've got this guitar tuned this way, because of Joey Landreth. I basically try to trying to learn some of the triads. Was it? Let's see. It's really it's like having to learn guitar all over again to try to find triads. But it's really cool to be able to see all the triads up and down the neck that way. Because the guitar is totally jacked up when you're in open tuning, open C. So this is C, G, D, C, G, C, E, G, C. And I've got baritone strings on here. So Zach's a very good guitar player. What's an epiphany? Sorry. Yeah, you could. The cool thing is, like, if you just do like a triplet thing, like a 12/8 thing. We're talking about 12/8 on a triad, and you alternate between a fretted behind. Almost sounds like you're doing some kind of like fingered guitar lick, right? Depending on how high your action is, I do tend to lift up the slide a little bit. So I'm adding the seventh there. Now I'm just practicing while live streaming. Totally. Like the last 10 minutes, I'm just, yeah. So you might as well join in. You might as well watch me because I might as well make some money while I practice, right? Because I practiced for 20 years not making a dime. So maybe I'll make a dime for this. Of course, is anybody left? Paul's probably still there watching in the background, keep me in the background of his work. If I know Paul. Hi, Paul. I say his name and I totally distract him. That's one of the things I love about what's his name's playing is when he does a slide, he'll fret with a slide. The thing you were told not to do when you start playing slide. Oh, Kathy. Okay. Kathy had a question about holding her guitar. Kathy, where are you? Yeah, I tell you to ask questions, then I totally ignore you. That sounds like me. Oh, there you are. Hi, Bruce. Last week, Tom mentioned the artist that was helping with new guitar playing and she wanted to hold the guitar. Oh, yeah. I can't tell you who that was. But anyway, that was more for show. So what I was telling her was like, it was more of this kind of thing. How high do you want to wear it? Okay. So if you're, actually, I should put the strap on. This is cooler. This is nerdier. Cool, nerdy, cool, jazz guy, rock guy, jazz guy. Somewhere you got to find where it looks good, and then that would be the height. And because she's a pop artist and on stage, and wearing not costumes, but wearing changing outfits. Sometimes every song or something. So I don't. She's not. I've not seen her play guitar on every song. She'll play on a song or two in the whole set. Uh-oh. Dang it. How close is your mom? Is she close to you? Or do you live close to her? Or is she like you have to fly across the country? Because when my mom was having problems, it was like one of us had to fly all the way to Indianapolis and none of us lived in Indianapolis anymore. So it was a drag. Yeah, I'll see you on Wednesday, Holly. Don't worry, you can take off. But Catherine, one of the things, and I like having a footrest. I'll even use a footrest when I'm doing sessions. And I'll put it under my right foot. It's designed to put under your left foot and play classical guitar, right? like this footrest. I'll send you. I'll post a link right now. What was it? I've had one in the past that broke. This one has a lot of. It can go really high. I've got it almost as high as it. No, I don't. It actually go really high, and it can go pretty low too, which is nice to have all these options. Now I don't remember where it was. I think it was there. The reason I do it here is so that I get the guitar in the window of our thing. But you can play with the bout of your guitar on your left thigh, or you can play with the bout of guitar on your right thigh, or you can put it on your right thigh and have something under your leg like this. It would be difficult to have it on your left thigh and not have something under your leg. So let me give you a link to this. I think it's like $20, if that. Let's see. Boo, 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 boo. Where are you? I thought I had a link on there, but I guess I don't. Turn. Oh yeah, $12. This is the exact one I have, and this thing rocks. Text. So if you don't have one of these, I would get one just to have around. It folds up really nice. Oh, you're practicing. Oh, awesome, Paul. With the footrest, it's technically originally most people used it under their left foot to play classical guitar, to sit like this. So I've got the footrest under my left leg so that it's like this, and then I'm. Okay, but I like to put it on, when I'm doing sessions and stuff. I like to put it under my, because what I would do, just to have the guitar a little bit more under my arm and more, just a more ergonomic thing, and not having to lean over so much or whatever. And part of the reason is because I tend to put my studio chair high, so I'm looking down at my computer monitors, because I pinched a nerve in my neck years ago and lost feeling in my hand and stuff, and it was because I was looking up too much. So I've changed the setup in my studio to change my ergonomics. So that's why I have the footrest, so I can put my foot on it. Otherwise, I'd be close to the floor. It may not be necessary. But what I was doing was I was literally standing on my left foot with my right foot. I turn my left foot on its side and stand up. And then at the end of a session, my left foot would just be so sore because I'm like standing on it, or resting on it so much. So the footrest really helps to prevent that from happening. I can just keep the footrest here. But so yeah, having it on your right foot is totally fine if you're going to play like this. They were originally, like I said, designed for so you can do classical guitar stuff. But it's fine either way. The other thing, you just put a guitar case under. Oh, did I give you the link? I did give you the link. So there's the link. So you can click on that and order one of those. They're pretty pretty useful, to be honest. I should probably keep one in my car. I should get another one to keep it in my car, because that way, if I go to a session and I find myself stepping on my foot and twisting, basically breaking my ankle in slow motion, it's what I'm doing. Then I can go to my car and go grab that. So anyway, back to practicing. Any other questions? Oh, you don't have a slide? Well, you can practice playing slide with your first. Just lay your finger across. I mean, and like all the notes that are good on any major, if you're tuned to an open chord with a slide. A whole step down, 2 frets down, all those notes are cool. So we got. And up a whole step is all fine too, except on the G string, you're going to want to go up a half step. basically I'm playing a G chord and an A chord at the same time. Sorry, I gotta get my windows in order. Can't see you. Oh, there you are. Let's see. See you Wednesday, Jack. Take care. Yeah, so Lena, let's see. How about for a pop singer? I put my foot rest on her. Yeah, I mean, pop singer's probably going to want to stand. Well, not necessarily true. In fact, I just watched 2 videos of Taylor Swift playing guitar, and she's sitting down. And yeah, you know, having something under your right foot is totally normal. I think about, like, if I was sitting on a stool, I would put my foot on one of the higher rungs and my left foot on a lower rung on a stool. And so. More stuff to buy. Yeah, the slide I'm using is just the Dunlop glass slide. I can send you a link for that too if you want to add it to your shopping cart. Where is it? I actually like, oh, glass. Yeah, I need glass. Yeah, I think this is it. $6. Not a bank breaker here. And you can kind of choose your size too. You can, you have a smaller slide, a narrower slide, a thinner slide. Lots of options on slides. All right, I'm going to take off. We got just a few people here watching, so, but I should probably get going. The Preacher's Pipe is a good one too. Yeah, I like that one. It's a brass one. Preaching Pipe slide. A little more expensive, but this one here. I think this is the one I got. This one is actually, they got multiples. You can do a little hunting. But, so let's see. There we go. Copy. Um, thanks, Sean. No worries. They have a couple different. They have different. You can get different sizes and things like that. But the nice thing about it is it's tapered. It's curves to kind of fit your guitar, which is nice. Although I think for the Sonny Landreth stuff, it might actually make it a little harder because you almost want a flat slide to be able to get below. But I don't know. Maybe it would work better. I have to experiment with it. But that slide is actually in my main guitar case for gigs. So I have it with me at gigs, but I don't have it here in the studio. In the studio, I kind of like using the glass slide. Also got the keys for lap steel and stuff like that. But all right. So I'm going to take off. God bless you all. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on Wednesday, and then Friday we'll do instead of a live stream, we'll do a Zoom hangout. So if you go to the Discord, you can get join the Discord group and go to announcements. You should be able to get that on there, and then I don't know. I don't know. Maybe Holly's going to moderate, or should I moderate? I'm not sure because if I'm moderating, then I can mute people. which is what I'm used to. You're all muted, essentially. So anyway, I'll talk to you soon. Take care, Sam. Good to see you. Bye, Quail. Thanks, Bruce. Thanks, Dennis was lurking, so thank you, Dennis. See you later, Paul. See you, Lena. Jack is already gone. Hasta luego.